1, 2, 3. Oh. Ooh, that felt good. Cracking open a cold one.
Make sure the logo is facing the camera.
For the latest brought to you by Bang Energy Drinks.
No.
And Coca-Cola.
And Cherry Lime Ricky.
Anywho, Carmeline Studios presents The Talkies. That's right. We still do this show occasionally.
When we
For
feel
the
like
8
it.
of you that watch it.
Yeah, it's when a movie comes out that we feel like is worth it. Basically, the year that we tried to see every tentpole major announcement movie was one of the hardest years of our lives.
Well, not only that, but MoviePass stopped working.
And then MoviePass stopped working.
Yeah.
But honestly, the having to sit through
That was
the
far
Slender
worse.
Mans and Winchesters of the world was pretty rough.
I have to say, like, I've never wanted to actively walk out of a movie until Winchester.
That was a
It
bad,
was a
bad
terrible,
movie.
terrible movie.
Yeah.
It's like, stop this experience. Can
Yeah.
I just leave?
So,
That was a terrible movie.
so our new model is we cover the movies that actually look interesting and that we think we actually might enjoy talking about.
Yeah.
So, this week we went and saw Overlord.
Overlord.
Yep. JJ Abrams produced movie.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. It's just like a pay for title kind of thing.
Well, he actually has a contract with Paramount Pictures that is supposed to be an exclusive contract where he's been paid a obscene amount of money to deliver, I can't remember if it was 10 or 15 movies over a certain amount of time.
Exclusive?
And it was supposed to be exclusive, he wasn't allowed to work anywhere else. This is like an old-fashioned golden era of Hollywood type of contract.
Interesting.
Right?
We'll see how that worked out.
Except there's one huge exception. Disney was able to pay Paramount enough to get JJ to come over and do Star Wars twice.
My mic is all messed up. It's like falling off the table. Oh, jeez.
So,
What a disaster.
It's fine, dude.
Disaster.
It's fine. It doesn't go on the table all the way. I don't know. No, just keep talking. It's fine. Don't mind me. You can just cut to one of your guys' camera.
Sure.
We're good. Sorry.
as I was saying, Overlord is one of those contractual obligations.
Right.
Which we know make the best
movies.
Best movies.
Yeah.
Yes, and when it was first announced, it was announced as the next installment in the Cloverfield universe.
Right.
Widely announced, which either was a bait and switch, or after the catastrophe that was Cloverfield Paradox, they decided maybe the Cloverfield thing's not such a great idea.
It's funny because it's like they usually do it opposite, where they'll like introduce a movie that's brand new that has nothing to do with Cloverfield, and then
Later you find out it's Cloverfield.
But now it's opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually a lot of people might be including myself a little bit, will be disappointed going into this thinking it's going to be Cloverfield. Expectations kind of thing.
The whole movie, I still had that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
It's a Cloverfield movie. It's a
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
I was thinking
it's just
actually the
around the
same thing,
corner.
yeah.
It's going to happen. Here comes the alien.
Yeah, never does.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. So how did you guys temper your expectations? Because when we walked out of the theater, we had a little bit of a different experience.
Yeah, well, let's each describe our coming out of the theater moment in a facial expression.
Okay.
All right, so this is Devon coming out of the theater. All right, and this is Taylor coming out of the theater. And this is me coming out of the theater.
A mixture between us.
And this has been The Talkies. Thank you, everyone,
Thank you for
tuning in.
We did. So yeah, we were all over the place. I just wasn't all that moved by this film.
Right. So tell me again. So I gotta move this.
You want to get into expectations?
Yeah, I want to talk about those because I didn't know about this movie at all. Besides it supposedly being the next Cloverfield. That's all I knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had talked about this movie several times coming up to it.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you guys were.
Well, I
expecting.
saw a lot of hype over the last couple weeks as test screenings began.
Oh yeah.
That the reactions to it were much better than I thought they were going to be. Some of the early released footage and first trailer looked really bad.
The trailer looked terrible.
And so my expectations were really low, but I could tell that it was visually crazy and had a lot of gore and something that looked like zombies mixed with World War II. And so as soon as I started seeing positive buzz after screenings, then I thought, maybe this is something special. So maybe that put my expectations up a little bit too high. I don't know. But more so with me, it's less about expectations and more about missed potential. But we'll get into that.
Which only the best movies do.
Missed potentials.
Well, I mean, good, like when movies are much better than you thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
You want them to be all the way good.
Yeah.
But they never get there.
Yeah. My expectations were pretty much identical to Kenny's. I think the whole thing with expectations in general is they're basically only ever a negative thing to have going into a movie.
Yeah.
Because almost 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, a movie is never going to be what you expect it to be, unless it's a Marvel movie.
They are always what you expect them to be.
Yeah.
That's great.
Terrible.
So I made the fatal mistake of having a very specific expectation that this movie was going to be basically a grindhouse gore fest, which is kind of what the later trailers, like leading up to release, the short 30 seconds
They
ones.
completely shifted the trailers.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was getting excited for it. I was like, oh man, this is going to be a gore fest, and it's going to be like kind of campy and gritty. And it's not like that at all, really. It's definitely a lot more grounded, and that threw me out. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. But, you can't really fault a movie for not being what you want it to be because it's not it's not the same movie,
It's
right?
not, right. My expectations going in was like, I thought it was like not a very good film. I didn't know JJ Abrams was behind it at all. Had I known that, I probably would have expected more. But I had thought that the movie was going to be just like this kind of B movie, and they've thrown the title around here and there, and I've heard about it here and there, but I didn't think it was going to be anything great. And I think because of that, maybe I really enjoyed myself there because I really, really liked this movie quite a bit.
My problem with this film is that it did a whole lot of things well, but none of them well enough. That's what I felt like, right? So like it set up the sort of awe and scope of a very good, well-made World War II period piece. Like the opening scene, the opening jump scene was freaking fantastic.
It was really good.
Yeah. And that made me go, okay, we're settling into a really good war drama. But it didn't quite pull off war drama. It veered off into other things, right? Then it looked like we were going to see an escape movie, and then it looked like we were going to see a monster movie. And it was all of those things to like level C, but none of them to level A.
It's like a tone problem almost.
Yeah.
Like it never really committed to one side, I guess.
Like the best movies have a very clear sense of identity.
Yeah.
And I think that's it was hard for me to describe why I didn't feel like this film made it all the way for me. Coming out, I'm like, man, I really want to love this movie unconditionally. There was so much about it to enjoy. And I genuinely had a great time from beginning to end. But it had that thing where in the back of my mind, the longer I am separated from the movie, the less I enjoy it. I'm just looking back going, this actually wasn't that good.
That was opposite for me. Yeah. Like, the longer I sat with it, the more I was like, I really did like this. There was so much of it worked for me where, like we said, like the one thing we can all agree is that the opening scene was super good. Super great because it was very dramatic. What I got
looked real.
It did.
Totally looked real.
if I'm comparing this to like a more of a grounded reality movie, it like what was that one? Dunkirk. Dunkirk, immediately off the bat, I could tell, this is not like a hugely stylized. In a sense, Nolan kind of does his own stylization, but I could tell it's kind of a more grounded movie. It's about a character in a world, and we're going through his drama. This one was like a character in a world, but then we have other like cartoon characters almost, where this guy has a really thick accent, thick Brooklyn accent, and then this other guy is like,
he was a cartoon character.
And then this other guy is like, keeping to himself, and he talks like this all the time. Yeah, you guys don't know what's up.
Yeah.
And like all those things, like I just saw these polarities up and down, and then the destruction starts happening where they got the plane shooting and everything, and the bullets like coming through each had like this wild sound effect where and it's just like everything was so turned up to 10 to me that I'm just like, okay, I know where this movie is going, right? And then he gets out, and then we have that crazy follow shot as he goes down into the sea as he jumps. And then after that, it was just, everything was fine with me, because everything that had turned out after that met the expectation that the first part set up for me. So it was just like, this is going to be kind of a cartoonish movie, and then it just did that forever. That was great.
See, what's funny with me is I felt like it was grounded, and I liked that about it. Like, elements of it were grounded and then contrasted with how over the top some of it is. But I felt like, well, one, the zombie stuff and all the mutation stuff was not done enough. Like, it needed to be even more extreme. Like, I needed more gore. Like, there was not enough gore. And
we need a supercut.
Every time I said that, not enough gore.
It needs more gore.
Well, I think you have something to that, actually.
Yeah.
Because there are other elements in this film where they went to the 10, right?
Yeah.
Like that battle scene at the very beginning. I mean, that was like 10 out of 10, a perfect scene.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And then some of the sort of like body horror stuff in the laboratory Nazi lab.
That was crazy, yeah.
Was crazy, but also kind of on par with just stuff we've seen a lot.
I love
and
it so much.
not enough
That's
of
what
it.
I mean. Like it just, that could have been, that's where I would have liked to have seen more pushed.
I also didn't like that a lot of the movie, probably half of it, felt like half of the movie is shrouded in mystery as to what they're doing.
That was, yeah.
But you know what they're doing, and the reason you're in the movie theater to watch the movie is because you know what they're doing.
That was the only part that annoyed me.
Yeah.
In the theater, I told this to Taylor earlier. I was like, it sounds, or I could imagine this movie being called "Guy Discovers Something Weird Then Hides." It's just because that's all it was, just over and over and over until we finally learned enough.
The thing that annoyed me the most about this movie was virtually every time danger was evaded somehow, the people who just escaped being narrowly caught by Nazis turn to each other and start speaking in fully loud, audible voices. Like whether they're in the woods or in the church, or in the laboratory. Whenever they're communicating with each other, there's like bad guys right around the corner, and they never whisper.
I never felt that way.
It drove me nuts. I was just like, no, it gave me anxiety because I'm like, why are you talking that loud? You're going to die. They're going to hear you. Stop talking so loud.
That's funny. Yeah, because in other moments they were like, keep your voice low.
Right.
Always like that.
Yeah, until they had a dialogue scene. They're like, okay, now we have important exposition, so we're going to throw out the rule we just made.
That's so weird. Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. That's funny.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but that is kind of funny. There were some motivation things that I thought were weird. I got annoyed with the scene where our main character guy. Well, the main character guy started to grate on me because he was so heroic and like naively heroic, but that was like all he had to him, and maybe that was intentional, but it just got over the top.
He had some major holes.
Yeah.
You guys gonna tell me these because I don't know.
So the scene when the guys they capture that Nazi guy and they string him up, and he's just like hanging there up in the attic, and then one of the soldiers goes up to check on him and he's pretending to be dead. And then he's like, "Hey, are you dead?" you got to wake up or something, and he doesn't wake up, and then lets him down, and then he was playing dead and then kills the soldier. That alone was really stupid because I don't know why, like I kept wanting to just pull the mask off. Just pull the mask off and look at his face, You could tell if he's dead or not.
You could see him going.
Yeah, just waiting, or like with his eyes closed, just wait for him to breathe or something, Don't just like unhook him right away just because he's staying still for like a second.
And shoot him in the foot first.
Yeah, something. And I get that's like a logical thing.
Yeah.
But like, and usually that kind of stuff doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But in this instance, like, it was the first thought in my head.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a thought against the movie. I was like, oh, okay, now we're going to go take the mask off.
That's what he's going to do.
But then he just wandered around, and then him getting killed for that was really frustrating to me.
It's really funny because that's the kind of errors that people point out all the time in things like Prometheus.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, obviously the characters aren't going to act this certain way, is what they're thinking, and then they do act that way, and you're just like, well, why?
Yeah.
And really it is just a logic thing, and
yeah. And a lot of times that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, but for whatever reason it really did here. And then after that, having our main character making the decision to inject his dead friend with this unknown serum for literally no reason.
It wasn't no reason.
Why did he do it?
Because he saw that the other guy came up with our hero came back with the serum, and he was shouting like weird stuff is happening, and he just couldn't get control of himself, and he's like, what is that stuff? And then he sees it as a last hope.
No. The main character injects the soldier who had been shot.
It wasn't the main character who did it.
No, it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
It was.
I don't think
he
it
does
was.
it.
No, I thought it was the guy who
knew.
The red beard dude.
Knew. The main character got on top of him, made sure no one else was looking, and injected him.
Well, whoever did it, I still like the idea that they did it.
Yeah, that's okay, but
it didn't make any sense.
It doesn't fit with his character.
I think it did.
It didn't make
There's
any
been
sense.
big. So like they tried to build up this storyline
Yeah.
that he's the reluctant hero, that he is not a killer. He saves the mouse, right?
Yeah.
Not like 5 minutes separated from the he wouldn't kill a mouse story. Do we have him bashing in the head of the guy he just reanimated?
But clearly that was a character switch. There was a transformation that took place in him.
But the first thing that went through my mind was like, well, he had no problem killing now.
Right. Well, that's and so this is, we've talked about this before, where if you're on board with the movie, you can forgive certain things that other people may see as problems. For example, in what was the movie that we saw, Phantom Thread, a lot of things that I was like, but you guys were like, no, it's because of him. He's doing this and he's doing this. Exact same thing.
Different thing.
That's totally
different thing. Phantom Thread was a flawless movie.
Exact same thing.
Very different thing.
It's not.
I think what frustrated me a lot here is, like, I was like this close to being on board.
Yeah.
And like there were times where I was on
Near
board
misses.
and then just instantly like pulled right back off. It just back and forth.
Yeah. It just wasn't your what's it called? Wheelhouse.
No. It was not. And I really wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Again, like,
I've never seen a movie like this before. So grindhouse stuff is not stuff that I watch.
Yeah.
The closest that I've come, I think, to watching something like this.
You seen Sin City?
No. Is Rubber, I would say.
That's
probably the
kind of
closest.
a grindhouse movie. That's a cool movie.
Yeah, but like I haven't seen.
It's so cold in here, isn't it?
Yeah, why aren't you wearing a jacket?
That's a good point. Jeez. Saw you guys are wearing those. I'm like, smart. You wouldn't want to catch a cold. All right.
You good now?
Go on.
It's cold in the void.
Go on.
It's cold in the void. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. What were you just talking about?
Grindhouse movies.
Grindhouse.
Yeah. That I haven't seen basically any kind of grindhouse movie before. I've seen Quentin Tarantino movies, obviously, but
He's not always grindhouse.
yeah, it's kind of like his own style.
Yeah.
Funny
You done?
man over here.
You done?
Funny man over here. So yeah. So
It's
anyway,
getting
so
kinda hot. Jeez.
it could have been that.
Oh man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm getting pretty hot. I just need to breathe. Oh, much better. Okay.
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse. Oh man,
Man,
I'm
it's getting
kind of cold. Actually, I do want to put mine back on.
So yeah, Grindhouse. Another time, Grindhouse.
The most interesting thing to me about this whole experience was that we came out of this theater, and Taylor and I were just kind of like, had a good. It was nice, but eh. And Dee was like, "That was awesome." Contrasted to our exodus from
First Man.
Yeah. Where
I'm like, oh.
Dee's like, "I hated that movie," and Taylor and I were like, "That was awesome."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny. We're always inverted.
We are at odds.
We are.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the cinematography, maybe.
It was pretty average.
It was very average.
Yeah.
It was
very basic.
C+.
C+, maybe
Yeah.
C.
There was the scene where they're walking in the forest at night, right after the first scene, basically, right when they all meet up, and they're just kind of walking. And I couldn't help but notice the light, like the lighting. And obviously the idea is moonlight because they're just in the forest in the middle of nowhere. But it's like they had a giant, huge light in the forest as their like key light, but they kept moving the key depending on which character was talking in the line.
That's classic movie lighting.
Yeah. So it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
You could see like there's 3 moons in the scene.
Zero lighting continuity.
Yeah.
That's in every in fact that's how you learn
Yeah.
in film school, is that you learn to do completely different setups for every character, every dialogue scene, or every shot. I mean, lighting continuity was not a thing in this movie. In fact, the whole thing was very dark, and it was a kind of. There was actually 2 things that I picked up from that. One being really cool, because I don't know any other movies that start off super dark at night, like an action scene at night to begin with. I thought was a really interesting idea. But then most of the movie just being so just not very lit just didn't add to the atmosphere, and it didn't, it just took me out a little bit. So, it's like Dunkirk made everything feel really, really crazy, claustrophobic with daylight. Mm-hmm. Like, that's cool,
Yeah. During the dark, sort of running through the woods sequences of this, and through the hallways of that building, felt very much like a first-person shooter game to me.
It did. The whole thing felt that way to me.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that about it.
Yeah.
See, that's funny. If this was like a campaign, that'd be a good campaign in a first person.
I kept thinking of that over and over. I was like, this is a game. This is a video game, man.
That's why I didn't like it.
That's why that's why I liked it. It's funny because I think of a lot of the movie things that are wrong with this, in the sense that motivations were weak, and lighting continuity was bad, atmosphere wasn't thick, stuff like that. And set pieces weren't very big, but all those things I can forgive because I liked the subject matter so much. So it's kind of like also the movie. It's not going to sound fair because it's Edgar Wright, but Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved the subject matter so much I could forgive just about anything that he did wrong in the movie.
I don't like forgiving.
No. It's not consciously looking.
Forgiveness is not
it's not that
value Taylor has.
It's not.
I'm
looking,
not talking about movies, D. I'm talking about.
But I know what you're saying, though. You're saying you see a problem and you're like, nah, it's okay. I just turn my brain off. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like that though. Yeah. It's like you don't become aware of the problems until way afterwards, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess it didn't work, but it didn't matter because I enjoyed myself
in the moment.
Yeah, but see, the thing is with movies like that, they don't have timelessness to them. Like, to me, the difference is like a really great movie that doesn't wear off as you walk away. You can go back to over and over again, mm-hmm. and have just that same, oh, good, here we go again kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, even though when we watched Sorry to Bother You, like, we laughed and had a great time through that whole movie. By the time we were to the car, we're like, I'm probably not watching this again.
Right. Well, also in Sorry to Bother You, if it had been like really interesting subject matter, I could see going back to it. But it had meh. Same with Maniac, like the Netflix show. Like it has really, really interesting aesthetics, and I'd want to come back to it over and over. Except the whole series is just kind of meh.
In fact, of the year plus that we've been covering movies, there are very few where I feel like this is a movie I want to watch multiple times.
There's not many.
Maybe 5.
Yeah. I mean, well, like Mission Impossible, okay, Fallout, was a fantastic action film.
Yeah.
And just about all of it was just about flawless.
And are you dying to go watch it again?
I'm never watching that movie again.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Because it's just like I have other things I
Right,
could
exactly.
do with my time.
And so I'm just saying that
Hereditary
alone
now.
that alone I don't think can give a movie, precedent as to whether or not it was good enough.
In fact,
or not.
virtually all the movies that I would say are worth watching again, I already have watched again.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Blade Runner we've talked about.
Yeah.
How many times
I've watched
that.
Blade Runner, I've watched Shape of Water,
Yeah.
and I've watched...
I bought Shape of Water.
I haven't watched Thoroughbreds again yet.
I haven't either. I would though.
I want to.
Yeah.
I loved Thoroughbreds.
I saw Hereditary 3 times in theaters.
In the cinema?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was like, I just gotta watch this movie.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
That's really interesting though. I'm thinking about how I value movies, like, and if I really, because noticing my favorite movies, like all my favorite movies are movies that I can watch like dozens and dozens of times, just over and over again.
Yeah.
I think that is actually a large part of what I can consider for a movie to be great. Like, of course, the movie itself has to be really good.
Yeah.
But if, like, that's the threshold. Like, if I can't rewatch this movie many times, then maybe it's just not.
Well,
my
I think
kind
with
of
all
thing,
art, the areas in which the art is extremely, just masterfully pulled off, the highest achievements and successes within the piece of art you'll always appreciate it more the longer you look at it, if it is masterfully done. Likewise, the flaws become more obvious, more of an eyesore, more annoying, the longer you look at it, the more times you go back.
Well, for example, Star Wars, the original Star Wars, is a pain to listen to some of the acting, the lines coming through, and you're just like, God, how did I not notice that before? But it's still a great movie.
Yeah.
You still keep coming back to it.
It's a matter of some debate.
That it's a great movie?
Are you saying that the cheesy lines are part of the charm?
A lot of people don't like Star Wars.
That's true. That's true. Star Wars is kind of a underrated movie.
It's a little known gem.
A little gem.
I was just gonna say it's a little derivative.
I want to go back to your point.
Man of a Thousand Faces. Ooh.
Yeah, so
The Last
Hero.
Starfighter. Ooh.
light swords. Come on.
Samurais.
I want to go back to your point about how, your gradation of movies. Sometimes I feel like your specific taste, Taylor's taste, is either perfect or shit. And
how I
that there's
feel.
nothing in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, Overlord would be considered something in between. So like I liked the movie. It would be on the taste.io scale. It would be good. It would be the good circle as opposed to the amazing circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we're just expecting our audience to have familiarity.
Taste.io
Please go use this app.
is an interesting app, but
Sponsored by.
We have
Yeah, but
4
they
sponsors
have-
now that we've listed.
they have a rating system that goes, awful, meh, good, amazing.
With all these sponsors, we should be able to update our equipment.
They don't pay. It's for exposure.
You two are the ones who keep up the joke. I've never I've never been on board with this sponsored thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say?
It's 'cause
we're sponsored.
It's because we haven't been sharing the money with you.
Oh,
It's not a joke.
No, we haven't been sharing the exposure.
We've only
You guys
been
got a ton of
exposing
exposure. You two
us.
got a ton exposure.
Yeah, that's why I got a sunburn. Too much exposure.
Too much dad joke.
Anyways, Overlord sucked.
Yeah, it's just objectively bad.
This is probably the best movie I've ever seen. Where's the golden helmet?
No.
No.
I had a great time at the movie theater. I won't watch it again.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there is a lot that I did really like about this movie.
And I'll give it this. I had kind of felt like, you know what? I've seen enough World War II movies. Nazis are the bad guy movies. Like, I was just like, oh, gosh, how many times are we going to go back into this piece of history? It's not that I don't like it. It's just there's a lot more out there, you know?
Yeah.
And this made me go, nah, I like World War II.
Yeah.
I see why we keep going back to
Well,
World War II.
it's funny because I'm so also sick of World War II.
Yeah.
Just over and over. And then this one had zombies in it. And I was like, cool.
Yeah, it's not.
I like it.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle for me.
Yeah.
World War II and zombies.
I know.
Yeah.
How cliche can we get?
Seriously.
And stylized to look like a first-person shooter
By
game.
the time you're 50, you know, there's going to be so many cliches.
Yeah, I'm just going to
You're
hate
like, World War III again?
Oh, jeez.
Another
character
romance
stories.
with an alien during war under the ocean movie.
Wait. Oh, for me to have not hated the movie more than I do is a positive. Because, like this movie, I didn't hate this movie. Like, that's saying a lot.
That is how
kind of
Taylor
movie.
says, I love you. Ladies, just so you know, if
I
Taylor
don't
looks
hate
across
you.
the table, looks into your eyes and says, I don't hate you. That's about as far as he goes. I don't
That's high
hate
praise
you.
for this movie.
And
For
she'll-
this kind of movie,
he's
yeah.
looking for that lady who will look back and say, I don't hate you too.
I won't forgive. I don't want anyone to forgive me, and I don't want to forgive anybody.
See, when I was watching the movie, I'm just like,
No
wow, this
mercy.
movie's bad. But you know what? I forgive it. I forgive it.
That's how I felt when I watched Winchester. I was like, "Ooh, this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life." I forgive it. I love it now.
I love it.
We laugh, but I think that's how 2/3 of the movie-going public watches movies.
With the whole thing about turn your brain off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
if,
think- yeah, I think
if
that
the
is the
story
thing.
and characters aren't pulling them in the way a movie is supposed to, they're like, well, these explosions are cool. Might as well enjoy those.
Yeah.
See,
Hey, that's a big robot.
yeah, no. Yeah, maybe if I was like, I wonder if I was into Transformers as much as I was into this grindhouse kind of gritty feel, maybe I'd like the Transformers movies.
Yeah.
You know,
See, the thing is with that, like,
It's time for a reboot. Transformers reboot.
I'm down.
they're
with
already
start
they're
over.
already doing it.
I'm down. I'm down with it. JJ
is-
Abrams.
It's not a reboot. That's same universe.
Cloverfield 5.
All right. Cloverfield 5.
Transformers is Cloverfield 5.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Jaegers. Jaegers.
Pacific Rim 3, Transformers 5. Oh wait,
Transformers
It's a bridge
7
movie.
or something?
Transformers 7.
Transformers vs. Jaegers.
Wait a second.
I like it. I like it.
I like grindhouse movies, and those movies
Are
the
flawless.
The whole point of those movies is that they're like
Is that they're not flawless.
they're bottom of the barrel.
Who's the guy
Scum.
we were talking about? I said that this movie reminded me of
Contradiction. That's what you are,
Reminded
sir.
me of Rodriguez.
A-Rod?
Robert Rodriguez.
Bob Rod?
Robert. Yeah.
Bob Rod.
Bob Rod.
Bob Ross.
This movie really reminded me of his stuff because it's imperfect, you know, but it's so fun.
Yeah, it's just sort of
awesome.
down and dirty.
Yeah.
Guerrilla.
I love that kind of
Guerrilla
stuff.
filmmaking.
The difference here is it's not enough. Like if you're gonna be a grindhouse, you have to go all.
That's the whole
way.
thing. It's like
You-
over the top.
You know what I think it was maybe that held it back for your standards was that it's super produced, right?
That's because that's the Abrams effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna
JJ
say.
They're like, let's do it all grindhousey style, and JJ Abrams like, no.
Yeah, right.
We need a key light right there.
Right.
Gotta be slick about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So some
And
of the
he's like,
stuff
are you
was-
hand holding that? No. Yes.
This this is what I realized. This is the biggest takeaway I have for this movie is I've been this type of disappointed with multiple movies for having the same expectations. Basically, I was very disappointed in Death Wish because I expected it to be a grindhouse movie.
Yep.
I was disappointed in this because I expected it to be a grindhouse movie. Actually, every Eli Roth movie ever made, except for A Clock in Its Walls, which was actually pretty good. I wanted
That
to
was
be
Grindhouse.
yeah, I wanted to be a grindhouse movie, and what I realized is I just want to make a grindhouse movie. That's all it is.
That's
You heard it here first, folks.
although Death Wish
We're announcing
is just bad.
the beginning
Yeah.
of
Oh, no doubt.
production
Yeah.
of our first grindhouse movie. We're beginning production now.
We are.
Hey, spoilers, jeez.
I shot you.
Spoilers.
Shot you.
Spoilers.
See, it's funny because I feel like since no one watches the show, we can just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
We can just say anything.
Yeah. We should talk about the ending.
Yeah, let's talk about the ending.
The ending sucked.
The ending was very unfulfilling and completely unsatisfying.
Unsatisfying.
Yeah, completely unsatisfying.
It should have ended as he was escaping.
One of the most ridiculous lines that I've seen in so many movies now, it is so stupid, is when...
The lines in here were terrible.
There were some bad ones.
I loved it.
But this one is a cliche. This one is one that was just... It happens in like every movie like this, where the soldier has to go make his report to his superior, and the superior says, if there happened to be something we should see down there underneath the rubble... You would tell us, right?
I loved that.
And he goes, "Oh, yes, sir."
I was caught up in that.
Yeah,
no, I was sitting there going, "Ooh, is he gonna tell him?"
But he says
I was
that
right
like,
there with him.
Like, if he actually has the amount of suspicion that his voice portrays,
Yeah.
they should be digging in that rubble anyways. He's already saying pretty much, "I don't believe you. There's something down there."
Yeah, well, I mean, you're looking at it from different eyes. It's just what it is. You're judging it differently.
I'm just saying it's done in every movie of this kind.
I
just like that.
I disagree.
But it is. That's not a point of contention. You can't disagree with facts.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. What are you saying, D?
There's no point in arguing against someone's opinion, so there is no...
I didn't state an opinion.
There's no point to
I said this
continue here.
happens in lots of movies.
That's not what you said.
I said there's tons of movies.
Yes.
Tons of movies where this exact same sort of line happens.
Yeah.
Where they come in to make their report.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, so everything was normal out there, right? Wink, wink."
Yeah, but
yes,
just because
sir. Wink, wink.
Just because it happens in other movies doesn't mean it's happened the same way with the same kinds of feelings involved with those other movies.
Just makes it cliche.
It makes it cliche if what they're doing is for the purpose of that exact.
You say cliche.
No, okay. So
I
for
say
example,
cliche.
For example, every movie we know of follows the 180 rule, just about, right?
Not us.
Not us.
We do now.
Yeah.
You couldn't say that's cliche,
All the cameras are over there.
right?
Yes.
That's my point here, is that you can't just say it's cliche just because it's repeated. Like it had different context.
It didn't.
Right. All the other ones were zombie Nazi movies too. I forgot.
No, the context is something secret, shady was happening
It's
behind the scenes.
yeah, but again, there's different feelings involved.
Yeah, this one didn't have any feelings.
Yeah, that's fine.
Emotionless movie.
If we just want to hate on it, that's cool.
That's what I've been trying to do for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. Nah, you can't. You haven't really done it though, ain't it?
All right. All right, Ed.
Have you?
All right, Ed.
Have you? Just like I want to say something.
Yeah, it's just unsatisfying.
It was annoying that it really felt like there should have been a bow put on top. That's all in that ending, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, happy ending. They succeeded. We're patching up people who should have died. Totally
what they
should have
needed
died.
was a zombie coming back up. Is what they needed.
Yeah, to speak,
Something.
we needed a cliche. That's
Yeah.
what we needed.
Yeah.
We needed a good cliche to
Well,
end that
here's
off.
a good thing to say: is this was an original film.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that it's just a movie,
that's what I loved about it.
and I like that. I even like that it didn't set up a sequel.
I'm very grateful it
Yeah.
didn't set up a sequel.
Me too. Yeah.
Because holy cow, could we sit through another one of these disasters? I'm just kidding. Now I'm being silly.
Yeah,
'cause
I'm okay.
It's a good movie.
Kenny's
It's a
been
good
being
movie.
silly.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
No, Kenny doesn't not be silly.
My thing is extremes. I need extremes.
For you to love a movie.
Yeah, for me to really love a movie.
I have to say, was Shape of Water extreme for you?
No, it wasn't. And honestly, like I think I hold that movie as in high regards as you guys do.
Yeah.
Like I liked it a lot. I really do like it.
But saying that you liked it,
I would
I'd
put
say
that
is already.
that movie is it is just like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
To me, it is like a perfectly executed fairy tale, and fairy tales follow a very specific architecture, right?
Yeah.
So there's not going to be something terribly extreme going on there.
Yeah. And it told a story that I liked and had characters that I liked, and
The execution
executed
was
was
just
great.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I think this really does have to do with, like expectations.
So, but with Blade Runner,
Yeah.
the visuals, the immersion is totally extreme.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like it's a true epic, and it goes all the way in being an epic, almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Super complex story.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I like
that's
that kind of thing.
that's straight out of noir filmmaking.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's just following a suit.
Noir.
Yeah.
So this movie was not nearly extreme enough
In the grindhouse sense.
for what
That's what you're
I
saying.
think it needed it to be.
Yeah. It totally evoked the sense of grindhouse.
Yeah.
So it should have gone more into it, and I think that's what we're talking about when we say a JJ Abrams produced movie can't be down and dirty.
Yeah.
Maybe
Especially because it
that's
was rated
just it.
R.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw that, it was actually that was the horse. That was the horse that broke the camel's back.
The horse.
Why are we putting horses on camels?
Wow.
This should be your extreme movie right there. Horses riding camels?
When I saw that it was rated R, I was like, all right, now we're going to get some gore.
It
and
did
it's gonna
seem
be-
rather light for a R-rated movie.
Yeah.
That's true. That is
That's funny.
totally true.
That's really funny.
I was shocked that they didn't kill that boy, and then when the boy survived, that they didn't kill the guy who rescued the boy. The fact that he took a bullet in the back and he was like being patched up at the end and still making jokes.
Yeah.
I was like, no, he was supposed to die.
Dude, I didn't even notice that he lived.
Yeah, he lived.
I didn't even notice that.
He should have died sacrificing himself to save the
Yeah.
boy.
That happened, and I
That
was like,
should
oh,
have
there he
happened.
goes, he's dead. And
I'm just
I
like-
Oh, yeah.
made him
Yeah, I didn't realize
The
that.
ending was like
No,
very
I
rosy.
I kind of liked though that he.
Yeah, you liked everything about it. I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. I get it, D.
Say the
You
same
you liked a movie. Great. Great.
Yeah, Kenny, you hated the movie. Great.
Fine. Fine.
I get it.
I'm
do
just
I look?
uncomfortable sitting here praising a movie, okay? It's not something I typically do with D. That's not what our relationship is built upon.
agreeing with you a lot.
No, praising movies, we don't do
Oh.
that very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreeing with D also, we don't do very much. What kind of pizza is this movie?
Oh, okay.
We'll start with Kenny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If I were to define this movie in terms of a pizza experience, I would have to say that if you had a slice of pizza where the crust was good, the cheese was good, the toppings, everything
good
was
pizza.
really good. You're just like, it's just what you wanted in a pizza, but they served you a slice that's this big and no more. Like, you'd be like, cool. And then later you'd be like, well, I'm never going there again. It was good, but not going back. I'd rather have like a mediocre pizza and have a full box.
All right.
Mine would be like this restaurant is advertising this new pizza that they came up with.
Yeah. What's the restaurant called? Where is it located?
Okay, it's
How tall is the building?
it's 3
What's
stories
it made of?
tall, concrete. The restaurant is called Louisiana's,
Louisiana's. Okay. Go on.
and they have this new pizza. It's called Fire Pizza, where the gimmick is they light it on fire, and it's served to you on fire. But when you get there, it's not real fire. It's just like decoration, and they give it to you.
It's like yellow cellophane.
Yeah. It's not. It's like wind and yellow cellophane. It's like it's not real fire.
This movie was the kind of pizza where you hear that there's this pizza place that my friend went to, and he got the pizza, and there was like flames decorated on it. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. So you go over there and they give you the pizza, but it's on fire. And then they blow it out, and you're like, that was amazing.
Wow. A little reductive.
I want to go there.
Yeah,
What is that place?
That's Missouri's.
Dude, maybe that's where I wanted to go in the first place. Maybe I got them mixed up.
I gotta say, your pizza review is a bit cliche.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It did
Derivative.
yeah.
Bit derivative.
Was a bit. Did you say reductive earlier?
Yeah, you made it smaller. You took something, you made it smaller. It's reductive.
Reductive.
You gave that joke a reduction. Anywho.
Are we done here?
No.
This is a disaster.
No. There's one more thing.
Disaster.
It must be said.
Right.
The music they chose to play during the closing credits was completely off tune with the rest of the movie.
Ooh, you love that.
That like blew the tone for me.
loved the freaking soundtrack in this movie. So much.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
remember it.
No, in
I
the
love
movie was great.
And the credits.
No.
Everywhere.
That
in
was
this
like
movie. Venom.
It was like that.
Sorry,
That
was the wrong. That's
It
wrong.
felt like that though. I was like, this is so tone deaf to
no.
the movie.
No, it felt like grindhouse to me.
It wasn't good.
Okay, it was though.
I hated that.
I didn't mind the music.
I will not give it a value judgment. I'll just say that I hated it.
I absolutely loved it.
You know what I loved? The title reveal.
I loved the title reveal too.
Yeah.
And that they used vintage font and retro logos
Yeah,
from
logos,
the production
yeah.
companies.
Yeah,
It
love that.
had a
Yeah.
very like Cecil DeMille feeling.
Cecil DeMille, definitely that.
Golden age of
Yeah,
Hollywood.
BB
Is that-
King.
Yeah.
BB King?
Yeah, BB King-esque.
What?
Yeah. It was very Louis Joseph.
Yeah, Louis
Yeah.
You
Joseph.
guys.
It was great, man. Very Walt Disney.
I say something perfectly serious, and all you guys can do is make jokes. You think that reviewing movies is a joke? You think this is something we do for fun? I'm saying it was DeMille-esque.
Kafkaesque.
No, it wasn't
That's
Kafkaesque.
Kafkaesque.
Definitely wasn't.
Definitely Kafkaesque.
You have been watching The Talkies, and I pity you.
No one's watching. No one's
Pity
watching
the audience.
this. Nobody watches this.
Do we have anything else to say?
No.
That is it.
Okay.
What's next? What movie next?
Oh, yeah. Maybe you could... No way.
Venom.
No. Last time you told us what to see, it was a disaster.
I still say we should see bad movies. Over
We
and
saw
over.
Mamma Mia last time, and it was awesome.
Oh, that's right. You could tell us what to see next. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again is actually a good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
What's that horror that we wanted to see?
Slender Man.
Suspiria.
Suspiria.
Yeah.
Suspiria.
Yeah.
It's already out.
I
Yeah.
know. We need to watch
Amazon.
it. We need to watch it.
Amazon Prime.
We need to watch
Amazon
it.
Prime.
Watch it.
Amazon Prime.
Watch it. Watch it.
My
My name's D.
Yeah, we should just end it. I was going to say something, but...
Are there any other movies coming out this year that are good? Probably not. Okay.
Alita Battle Angel.
Alita
That's not
Battle
this
Angel.
year. It's next year.
Glass in January.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Taylor, Kenny.
Taylor. Kenny.
Kenny.
Devon.
D.
And this has been the Talkies. We'll see you, not at the Talkies because we're stuck here. Be safe.
Where are you going?